Hello everyone. Today I want to talk to you about my trip up to the Serpent Mound and give my assessment of the site. I have always been interested in archaeological sites and have been fortunate enough to have traveled to several countries and visited some impressive structures. I've known about Serpent Mound for years and have become more interested in the various mounds and earthenworks throughout the United States, and I finally had an opportunity to visit. Located in Peebles, Ohio, built on a bluff on the edge of a meteor impact site from approximately 250 million years ago, Serpent Mound is the largest effigy mound in the world. It's approximately 1,350 feet in length and 25 feet wide, arranged roughly in a north-south orientation. The southern part of the structure begins in a coiled tail and has three major bends in the body and a conical-shaped head partially engulfing another circular mound that appears to be a globe or egg. It is assessed by archaeologists to have been built by the Adena or Fort Ancient culture, which lived throughout the Ohio River Valley region as far back as 2,000 years ago. Rediscovered by settlers as early as 1815 and in 1846 was cataloged by surveyors working for the Smithsonian, Serpent Mound has been well maintained and preserved throughout the years. The true purpose of Serpent Mound is still up for debate. However, archaeologists and historians assess that the site was built with astrological alignments taken into account. This hypothesis is widely accepted as it aligns with the winter and summer solstice as well as the equinox. I think this is a fair assessment and reminds me a lot of the Nazca Lines in Peru, the Chaco Canyon ruins, and even Stonehenge. Many of the ancient sites seem to be deeply associated with astrological events or calendars. Serpent iconography is also present throughout human history, from biblical stories all the way to the gods of the Aztecs. So what exactly is this thing? Well, during my research into the site, I tried to rationalize why a culture would go through such great lengths to build something of this magnitude. Something intriguing I came across was an article from 2011 where there was a spiritual gathering of several hundred people at the Serpent Mound. This included indigenous priests or shamans of several native cultures. The purpose of this gathering was to conduct a ceremony honoring the famed 13 Crystal Skulls legend. There's even YouTube videos documenting this. More attributed to modern folklore than historical fact, a legend of 13 ancient crystal skulls that, when reunited, will unlock a higher knowledge for humanity. Allegedly, one of these crystal skulls was unearthed at Serpent Mound. Moreover, they are claimed to have some connection to the 2012 Mayan prophecy concerning the supposed imminent end of the world. There is no evidence of crystal skull legends in indigenous culture or the artifacts themselves even being produced in the Americas. While touring the site, I did witness several individuals placing hands on the mound as if they were praying. Maybe this site does have spiritual energy associated with it, and perhaps that's why it was built and revered by the ancient people in the area. Part of the modern folklore of this earthenwork is that there's magnetic anomalies associated with the site, whether due to its celestial alignment, proximity to the impact crater, or just spiritual energy. I decided to test this theory out with some basic compass readings. I took readings at the tail, head, and along the body, but found no indications of any magnetic anomalies. Maybe more thorough methods are needed. I would again attribute this to modern folklore, but I do find the legend to be interesting and may warrant a future video. When I visited the site, I was fortunate enough to almost have the entire place to myself, as there was some heavy storms that day and there just was not very many people out there. It felt like I almost had a private tour of the park. There aren't any signs of consistent habitation, but there were some altars found at the snake's head with some charcoal, broken pottery, and tools that can be seen in the small museum located at the entrance to the park. There are also two burial mounds that are located just south of the Serpent. Unfortunately, the observation tower was closed for the season, but I was able to walk around the park and be able to get a lot of good photos. The site is best seen from the air, which is why it reminds me so much of the Nazca Lines. Although not as precise, it's still a very impressive construction effort. Excavations and ground-penetrating radar have found evidence of a mistake made and corrected on the neck where it's attached to the head. In my opinion, this shows a very calculated method, and the effigy needed to be precise. All evidence on the surface of this error have been erased. I do agree with the consensus of the mound being used as an astrological marker and religious site. Perhaps shares some cultural influences with other ancient indigenous peoples from across the Americas. In conclusion, I find this site to be very impressive, although very odd, and there's still a lot of mysteries about this mound that have yet to be discovered. If you're in the area, I highly suggest that you take a trip up to the Serpent Mound and see for yourself.